On this week's episode of the Best of Johnston County podcast, our guests are Jim and Kim Fry, the somewhat new owners of Coffee on Raiford in downtown Selma. We talked to them about why they moved to Johnston County, why they decided to buy a coffee shop that had already been there for 5 years, their vision for the future of Coffee on Raiford, and some of the many great festivals, events, and businesses that are around them in downtown Selma. If you're interested in Selma or just interested in lots of small businesses or you just love coffee, listen in.
Welcome to another episode of Best of Johnston County, brought to you by Breeden Law Office. Our host, Jonathan Breeden, an experienced family lawyer with a deep connection to the community, is ready to take you on a journey through the area that he has called home for over 20 years. Whether it's a deep dive into the love locals have for the county or unraveling the complexities of family law, Best of Johnston County presents an authentic slice of this unique community.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Best of Johnston County podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Breeden. And on today's episode, we have Jim and Kim Fry, the somewhat new owners of Coffee on Raiford in downtown Selma, North Carolina. We're going to talk to them a little bit about their time in the military, why they came to Johnston County, when they came to Johnston County, and why they bought Coffee on Raiford about a year ago from the original owners, because everybody knows Coffee on Raiford's probably been there about 5 or 6 years. And we're going to talk a little bit about their vision for this coffee shop. We're going to talk a little bit about downtown Selma and some of the businesses that are there, and Activate Selma, which is one of my favorite groups in Johnston County. But before we get to that, I would like to ask you to like, follow, or subscribe to this podcast wherever you see it, whether it be on Apple, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Spotify, or any of the other social media channels of the Best Johnston County podcast. The Best Johnston County podcast comes out every single Monday and has now for about 2.5 years. So go back and listen to some of our previous episodes. We've had the vast majority of the county commissioners. We've had lots of great local business people. Most of the information on this about small businesses and community events like Backpack Buddies and Harbor and stuff like that are what we would call sort of evergreen. So while we may have recorded them a year and a half ago, the information is still just as relevant today as it was then. So go back and listen to some of those. I think you will find it interesting. Welcome, Jim and Kim. Y'all should not have done that because I'm like, Jim and Kim. I mean, we could have done Michael and Stacy, but no, we had to do Jim and Kim. So anyway, welcome to the show. Tell the audience who you are, what you do.
Okay, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
All right. So Jim Fry, and I currently have a corporate job, but even more fun is we recently purchased a coffee shop about a year ago in downtown Selma. And yeah, we're just trying to make it successful and trying to help build the community and impact the community as well. That's one of the biggest things in our hearts, you know. And yeah, we're just getting started. I don't know what else.
Well, let's start. I mean, where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
So I was born in Germany. I was an Army brat. I moved around my whole life, went to 13 different schools before college. I hated it when I was younger because, you know, you're breaking away from all your friends. And so I used to cry and scream. But then over time, I got more adaptable. And then pretty much wherever you go is home. And I was able to really adapt and connect quickly and became like the most friendliest in high school, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I went into the service myself. My dad, I was an Army brat. I was third generation, actually. My granddaddy was World War II. My dad was Vietnam. No, they were both World War II. And then I was in the service, went to West Point, graduated in 92. And yeah, and then my original goal was to be an Army astronaut. That's what I was pursuing. But the Lord had other plans, kind of redirected me. And
so how long were you in the military?
Redirection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best thing I got out of the Army. So.
Okay, I got you. So I mean, when did you get out of the Army?
So I was actually out in 97. No, 92 is when I graduated. Yeah, 97.
Okay.
And actually what happened was
right.
I actually had an injury. I was pretty much handicapped or repetitive bone trauma. Got medically boarded out. What was amazing though is 5 months after I got out, I went up for prayer on a Wednesday night service in my church in Texas. And I didn't feel anything, but the next morning when I woke up, my foot pain was gone. My foot was realigned and I ran for the first time in a year. The Lord completely healed me. And if it wasn't for that, I would have been handicapped. So it was a whole turning point, you know.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah, I told the doctors what happened. They looked at me like I was crazy and said, let's take some tests. And everything had changed.
I got you. So where are you from?
So I'm originally from Kansas, and went to Kansas State. Go Wildcats.
Oh yeah, the
Just
Wildcats.
kidding. Yeah.
Manhattan, Kansas.
Manhattan, Kansas.
3 hours from nowhere. I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you go and you drive for 3 hours and you see nothing, and then you come to Manhattan, Kansas.
Yep, you're there.
Yeah, I've seen it. You're right.
But so once I'm ROTC grad, I swore I would never date a West Pointer, and then I went and married a West Pointer. But
okay.
I was enlisted in the Army.
Never say never.
Yeah, never say never. I was in the Kansas Army National Guard as a mechanic. And then as I was in college, I went through the ROTC program, became an engineer officer. So I did construction for the Army, and I got to go to several different places, Cuba, Bosnia. Wonderful. I was the field ordering officer in Bosnia, so that meant I got to go shopping while I was over there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Which actually was my first exposure to coffee outside of the U.S. because they like to schmooze you when you're over there buying for the
Right.
Army. And that was my first exposure to Turkish coffee. And if you've ever had Turkish coffee, have you ever had Turkish coffee?
I don't drink coffee, but I have been to Turkey.
What?
Oh,
Okay.
But I didn't drink coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
So you
It's
don't
good.
drink the bottom of the coffee is what you don't drink.
Right.
You drink, yeah.
Be like a
So-
snuff or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was my first exposure to the coffee there. My dad sold coffee my entire childhood. So I've always been exposed to coffee. So yeah, we met in the Army, and then we got out in 97. Yeah.
Yep.
Right when
Okay.
we got married, we both got out, and
And
then
over the years, from a corporate travel perspective, I've had a chance also to like travel internationally quite a bit. And that's when, I really like coffee a lot too.
Okay.
And I got exposure to different coffees just like she did.
Okay.
But you have to be careful because sometimes overseas coffee is really small quantity, but super strong. And one time I was traveling for work, and I was in a working meeting during lunch, and my collar started going boof, boof, like, and my throat, my heart started racing. I didn't know what was going on. And I asked the guy next to me, I was like, hey, something's wrong with me. And he knew, being an American, I was in the Netherlands at the time. He said, well, did you have any coffee? I said, yeah. And he said, how many cups did you have? I said, well, I only had 6 because they're like this big. They're like, he's like, no, you don't do that with our coffee. And so that's what it was.
So what brought y'all to Johnston County? When and how did you get here?
so we both got out of Fort Hood. We stayed in Texas for a few years, and then the week of 9/11, we actually moved to Greenville, North Carolina, because Jim got a job working at DSM in Greenville. And so we were in Greenville for 16 years. And then about 10 years ago, we moved to Johnston County. We were looking for property and found 40 acres right outside of Selma. And we knew that was where the Lord was calling us to go to. And so we took a leap of faith and bought the 40 acres.
And she's leaving out a lot of details too.
I got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Because-
Cool. So you
because-
came here to buy land.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
do that.
You don't have like 3 hours to do this.
I do not. I do
No,
not.
no. I mean, but it was really because the Lord put a desire in our heart to impact families and community, and really use property and any means we can to really just bring His love and just impact the community and help build community. And the Lord said to get our house ready to sell in Greenville. So we literally packed it up into pods and got down to where there was nothing and said, we prayed, okay, we obeyed. And then she got this random unsolicited email of this place in Selma. I didn't even know there was a Selma, to be honest.
Okay.
My meatball
Well,
was from Selma,
technically-
Alabama,
Okay.
So I knew
got
that
you.
Selma.
And it's technically closer to Micro than it is to Selma.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
you know.
All right, well,
But
that's
it's still
fine.
Selma,
Right.
And
So-
that's what brought us out here.
Okay. So did you keep working in Greenville?
No, I have a global role. I work for a pharmaceutical company. I've changed companies since we moved here.
Okay.
I was trying to decrease travel because I was working in 10 countries plus Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And my current company is in Germany and here. But even though the footprint shrank, my travel still hasn't
Okay.
decreased as much.
So you still travel a little bit for work.
So I run.
Yeah, so she's the queen
yeah.
of the show.
I got you.
Yeah.
We're in support. Yeah, I'm in support. And
Okay.
He does the dirty jobs. He's
The
like
dirty-
Micro,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. So when was the first time y'all went to Coffee on Raiford? I know you bought it, but when was the first time you went there?
we were customers for 5 years.
Okay. The whole time it was
So,
open, right?
Yeah.
I really,
Jim-
we became good friends.
Jim knew
with
all
Jeff.
the baristas by name. So
Yeah, and
he
they
was
knew
constantly-
me, you know.
Yeah.
Jeff and Zena, they're amazing. Like, and we still have the picture on the wall honoring our founders, you know, like
Yeah.
Jeff and Zena, the
Right.
brother and sister. And then, yeah, and I like the coffee. I like the environment. It's just a great place because people go there and hang out. Like, you remember the TV show Cheers? It's kind of like that where people know each other. It's
That's
like a
kind of our
family
motto
environment,
also.
you know? Yeah, and that's what we
Where
desire.
everybody knows your name.
You know, and then when we heard about the opportunity, you know, she heard about it first and she called me up. And I'm usually one, I like to pray and really be careful. And sometimes I have fear kind of getting in the way about taking large leaps, you know. But this time when we heard about it, it just was like, we knew, okay, this is awesome. This is a chance.
Let me unpack that a little bit. It takes them usually 6 months to a year to make a decision. And when I called them about the coffee shop, I was like, Jeff and Zena are thinking about selling the coffee shop, because they had already talked about possibly selling it, but it wasn't going to be for a couple of years. And so I was like, hey, what do you think? He called me back in about 10, 15 minutes. He's like, I think we should go for it. So
She was like,
I was like, okay.
Right. So do y'all own the building? Who owns the
Yeah,
building?
yeah.
You own the building. So
we own the building and the business.
Okay, so they were sold together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I knew who owned the building.
Well, they were sold together, but separately.
Okay.
If
Like
that-
two
yeah.
transactions.
Two transactions.
One
but-
overall
Right.
offering,
Yeah.
Okay. So
But
you
they're under different business names. So
okay. All right. But so you do own the building and now you own own the restaurant. Okay. So I guess you do your due diligence, you look at the books and all that before you bought it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you kind of knew what you kind of knew.
Yeah. We
And a
knew
lot
what
of
we were
prayer,
getting
a
into.
lot of prayer too.
Well,
Seeking
and
the
we
Lord.
knew what we were getting into, and we knew that Zena was she's a hard worker, so I knew I had big shoes to fill. And the biggest shoes to fill was because we have a lot of regulars that come in there, and they were afraid, because they don't know me from Adam, and they were afraid that I was going to come in and make all these huge changes. And so Zena was sweet, and she, for the probably January, February, and March before we took over, she told me to come in as much as I needed to kind of learn how she does things and learn the ropes, and which was good because I was able to, meet with all the regulars and get to know their drinks, get to know them, and reassure them that I'm not going to change.
Like the overall
It's going
dynamic
to
of
pretty
the
much stay
environment.
the same. Now, I did change the coffee on them, but I don't think they knew until
Okay.
after I said something. I only changed it to organic coffee,
she's
but
big
I
into
kept,
organic.
I kept the roaster and everything, and I kept the same. Like if it's a dark roast, it's a dark roast, but I moved it over to organic because I'm one of those that if I won't drink it, I'm not going to serve it. So
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
So you buy this restaurant in March of 25.
Yep.
And you said your plan was not really to change it, but you did make some changes for the better, I would say. So talk about what those were and how y'all went about doing that, other than just changing the coffee.
So my degree from Kansas State is production operations management, which means it's kind of like the business side of an industrial engineer. So you look at the process and you want things to run effectively, efficiently. So when I went in, there were a few things that I wanted to tweak because I knew that if I were to tweak some things that it might work a little bit quicker. And so I did make a few of those kind of changes. And then obviously I changed to organic coffee. And then aesthetically, I didn't change anything for at least the first 6 months.
Yeah,
and
maybe
then,
even like 10. Well, 10. You started small.
Yeah, and I would make small little incremental changes because I didn't want to freak out too many customers when they come in. So this last change that I made, it was
remodeling.
It was a huge change.
But part of that process, though, we engaged a lot of the customers and got feedback and asked questions, even like on the colors and changes. So she was sharing a lot of the vision of here's what we're thinking. What do you guys think? So that it wouldn't be suddenly. It looks like a whole brand new place and everybody freaks out.
Okay, I got you. So what kind of coffees do you have there?
So we have everything from drip to, on the espresso side, we have cortados, flat whites, lattes, cappuccinos. We have frappes, we have smoothies, we have matcha, we have ceremonial matcha, which is different than just the other matcha.
It's pretty cool.
We have Italian sodas, we have dirty sodas, and...
What is a dirty soda?
You basically put some dirt in it. No, just kidding.
You take syrup and you put it in. So like, for instance, take a Mountain Dew, you add raspberry and pineapple or something, and then throw a little bit of either coconut milk or some half and half on top, or you don't have to have the cream. And that's what kind of makes it a dirty soda.
And I was saying that because that name's always thrown me for a loop. Like, why
I didn't know what it was. I saw it on your website, so I thought I would ask.
Oh, and we also have chai. And then we also have hot tea and then iced tea. So
okay. And what do you have for food?
So for food right now, we have Mickey's Bakery. They bring in Long John's and a few of their other items. We have the Violet Cafe. She's a local caterer that she brings in croissants and then ham and cheese croissants, chocolate croissants.
Pastry.
We have, pastry kind of things. We do have some chicken salad. We're also trying to, right now, because, January, February, March are kind of our slower months. And because our previous caterer we stopped using in December. So we're trying to figure out what's working. So that's going to actually be tweaked a little bit for probably in the next month. We're still trying to work on what is a good menu and what's going to stay, what's not going to stay kind of thing.
Okay. Because you don't have a kitchen.
No.
So all the food's being brought in.
Yeah.
And then you're sort of consigning it, I guess.
Yeah.
You buy it from the bakery, and you sell it.
And so if I don't sell, I don't make money.
You don't make any money, right?
Yeah. And then, we've had to pivot because there's been a couple other shops downtown that now are selling coffee and stuff, which, which is fine. But, because I don't have the flexibility with not having a kitchen. So I'm kind of having to stay in my lane on, okay, what can I provide for everybody? But Mickey's has been Mickey's Pastry out of Goldsboro. They've been great also. And then my caterer, Lynette, she's been fabulous too. So.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's great.
Have family law questions? Need guidance to navigate legal challenges? The compassionate team at Breeden Law Office is here to help. Visit us at www.breedenfirm.com for practical advice, resources, or to book a consultation. Remember, when life gets messy, you don't have to face it alone.
And you're open 7 days a week.
Yep.
A lot of hours for a small coffee shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you're open like 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. most days.
Yep.
So how do you staff that?
Very carefully.
That's
been the challenge, a little bit of a challenge. I've built enough of a team that pretty much our hours I've got enough staff for that now because I think we have 8 employees now.
And that's been part of the strategy too, because there's a difference between being, as you know, like self-employed versus business owner. Self-employed, you're just trading time for money and you're bound to it. And sometimes you have to start that way anyway. Right. So it's always heavier in the first part. But our desire was to continue to build a strong team. And we see it also as an opportunity to help some younger kids, younger people that are coming into the workforce. We want to pour into them, help them grow, hopefully teach them some things. She mentioned she had a degree in production operations. I do operational excellence, and that is a passion of mine in the corporate world. So any way we can impart those kind of skills to young up and coming people, it's going to help them on their career paths too. But building a team like that has allowed her to be able to not always have to be behind the counter, but then focus on what else can we do to keep driving and strengthening the business,
And also when I'm in there, I call myself the JV team. So like if they get backed up and we get a mad rush, I'm there to support that. But it's also been great because the relationship part of when customers do come in, we've had so many amazing connections with customers that because we're right off of 95, so we get a lot of traffic off of 95, and that has been the best thing ever because we've been able to meet people that are traveling from New York to Florida or Florida to New York or
Quebec,
or we've had people come in from Europe that was just traveling around, and so we've been able to make those connections. And we had one cool thing is I had an Italian guy come in and he's like, "Can you make me I think it was a Dubbio or a Ristretto, I can't remember which is basically a short espresso."
That's good.
And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can totally do that for you." And he said it was the best coffee he's had in the United States.
And he'd been traveling for about a month, throughout the U.S.
So I was
this is the best coffee.
I've reached the pinnacle.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's been amazing. And we've just been able to just be able to be, we want our place to feel like you're at home. And we want that connection. We want that because we live in a world of social media and we don't have that social interaction with each other anymore. And we want our place to feel like a peace, that when you walk in the door, you feel peace and that you feel like, oh, I can just sit and relax. And, if I have to work, I can work. But, we start up conversations. I had another couple come in and we had a conversation for an hour. And I mean, that was probably one of the best Google reviews that I ever had. If you go on my Google reviews, but it's just that human connection. It's just making, conversation and we're just doing it over a cup of coffee. And I'm kind of a bougie coffee drinker. So when you get me started talking about coffee, we might be here for a minute.
Okay.
So whatever you do, don't get me started on coffee.
Okay. All right. You just happen. Well, I mean, if you're going to be owning a coffee store is probably a good idea. Yeah. I don't drink coffee, so this is. I'm always learning something new.
Well, and I've also trained the staff too, the baristas. So they're
educated them.
I've educated them. So when people do come in and they ask for something, they're like, "Oh, I remember what Kim said about that." And so they're able to educate the customer. And that's part of our job as a barista. Yeah, we make coffee, but we need to understand the process behind it and what's involved with it and what goes into it. And they all get that. And so they know that that's my passion. So they've they've stepped up, and you can ask them questions and they can actually
right. And so y'all do some catering for business events,
Yep.
churches, stuff like that. I know you're not doing individual delivery, but you do catering. You offer event space in your place. People can rent. How many people can have a meeting there?
Well, currently we're not renting. It's basically a limit on the time.
Yeah.
So it can be used. Like you have to sign up,
Oh, okay.
And you can have about 8 people can sit in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just, very informal, casual, and it's free, and it's for 2 hours. And like we have a men's Bible study that meets there every Wednesday morning. And so we have a lot of those groups that kind of meet back there. So it's been kind of nice.
A cool thing to me too is, like I said before, we really want to bring God's love to the community too. We've got a prayer board on the wall. It started out where people just were putting all kinds of motivational comments on it.
Encouragement.
Yep. And which is pretty neat because it reflects the people, but our intent with that is we're going to actually put structured prayer to just pray for people behind it. So when they put a prayer request, we'll move it to a prayed for section. And because we've been able to have some really neat engagements with people to encourage them in some low places in life. And even travelers coming through where you could see that was a touch they really needed to experience encouragement,
Okay, well, that's great. That's great. I mean, it's good of y'all to try to do that. Let's talk a little bit about Activate Selma. Y'all are pretty involved with that. We've had Carl Purnell on the podcast, and Chandler's great. So for the people who don't listen to every podcast, what is Activate Selma and what has been y'all's role with it?
So Activate Selma is local businesses within Selma, and also any community, any person that lives in the community. We get together once a week, and the motto is we don't complain, we take action. And so we try to see if there's a gap or there's a need within the community, and we try to see how we can support that and fill that gap. And so it's been amazing to be a part of it, because the people of Activate Selma are really great people, and they want to see Selma grow, and they want to see Selma become a tight-knit community. And so, which I'm sure Rockin' on Raiford is the third Thursday of every month. We start in April, and I think we're going through September of this year. And it's a concert series that it's either going to be on the north side of Raiford Street or on the south side. And it's a free concert to come out. I think we start at 6 or 6:30 p.m. And it's just an opportunity for the community to come together.
There's food trucks, there's different things are out, block the streets off so everybody can walk in the streets.
And now, we have so many restaurants in downtown Selma, which is amazing. So, we have Harvard Yard, and they do breakfast through lunch and dinner. Then there's Alta's, they have breakfast and lunch. Asian Eatery has lunch and dinner. Pixie Dust has lunch. And then Hibachi Grill, they have lunch and dinner. So, and then of course, we have the Alley Bar and Quantum Toad. They're the 2 bars that are down on the south side. So we have a lot of restaurants down there now. And then we also have ice cream for dessert. So Mike's Neat with old fashioned ice cream, they're open in the
it's the best ice cream too.
No, it really is. I mean, it really is. Old fashioned ice cream is very good. I mean, I'm still a little partial Sunny Skies and Anger, but old fashioned ice cream. And then he does the not candy corn, the
popcorn.
The popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The popcorn is phenomenal.
Because I'm known in my family for sweets, and ice cream is kind of one of they call it a weakness. I consider it a strength,
Yeah.
And because of my global travels, I've been able to have gelato and ice cream all over the world. And I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. The pistachio ice cream in Michael's place, I told him too, the only place that came close to it was in Switzerland. It was a small place in Switzerland off the beaten path. But it's really good. And he uses local farms for the base and everything.
Yeah.
Which is what we like to do is go local.
Yeah. I've had his ice cream. I've had his popcorns. Yeah. It's really good. And it's great. It's great that downtown Selma is doing so well. We've had Barry Woodard on this podcast. We're talking about all the great things going on in downtown Clayton. Johnston County's downtowns, we've talked about downtown Benson on this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the towns of Johnston County, the downtowns are doing well. They're dynamic. There's people, like if you go to downtown Selma now on a Friday, Saturday night, there's people walking around. Like it's not a ghost town like it used to be.
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, I know y'all close at 6, but there's stuff going on all night.
Well, we've talked about even this summer of extending our Friday and Saturday night hours. So that might be an opportunity that may come available. Just saying. Just
right. I got you. So what are y'all, what other changes are y'all looking maybe to do? I know you're in the middle of kind of a remodel. I think what y'all have done is kind of neat there, but what other things would people see y'all doing here in the next 12 months?
So some of the activities that we have going on, because I love coffee, is I'm going to be doing probably 4-week course that will be in the evening time that people can sign up for to take those courses.
To teach what?
To teach about coffee. So
like how to make it, like the history of it.
Yeah,
everything.
All the above.
All of
equipment,
the above.
History, beans.
Yeah, and because there's so much to coffee that people, because you've got pour overs, you've got drip coffee, you've got vacuum coffee makers, which probably you don't have a clue what that is. You got espresso. There's so much to coffee. There's Turkish coffee. There's Vietnamese coffee that's made completely different.
It makes a difference too. It does make a difference on the end product. It might sound like,
where the beans come from make a big difference.
They do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. The beans, where the beans come from, even different countries in South America, different latitudes will change what the bean tastes like and stuff like that.
And I do, in the work, in my corporate job, over the years, I do a Lean Six Sigma. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a professional certification. I got a black belt back in 2002. And there's a concept called Six Sigma, which is where you perfect the process. And there's so many variables in the coffee process that can make it go good or bad. Yeah.
Well, that's I was talking to somebody today. You can have one bean, and depending on how you grind that bean and how you brew that bean, you get a totally different flavor.
Okay.
So I can use the same bean in my espresso machine and get a pull of a shot that is intense and it's got some punch to it, but I can grind it at different, ground size and put it in a drip coffee, and it has a completely another different flavors come out of it. So that's kind of what the class is going to be, is about that. And because, I have everything under the sun for coffee in the house to be able to show people there's different ways of making it. So,
and we have had some bad coffee out there too.
I
not at our shop. Not at our shop.
I got you.
There's times of oh my goodness.
Yeah. So how can people reach out to y'all? Tell people where you are, your website.
Before we answer that, can I mention too? You asked what else is coming.
Yeah.
A couple of things that we're thinking about, and is basically reaching out to see if we can provide services to companies, to basically cater for business meetings. That's one other thing we're going to plan on taking action on, and then allowing online ordering, because right now we don't allow the online ordering. We don't have a system for it, but we're working on putting that in place. So if somebody needs to do a drive-by and we just want to grab one quickly, we can make it more efficient for them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
cool. So tell people where you are, how they can reach out, learn about you.
We're at 123 North Raiford Street in Selma. You can reach out to us through Instagram. Obviously, it's Coffee on Raiford on Instagram, Coffee on Raiford Facebook. We even have a TikTok, which, I'm learning about that. But it's different. So on TikTok, it's coffee_on _ Raiford. So there's two underscores. Yeah. Because Jeff and Zena had the old one, and that one is no longer in use. So I had to kind of underscore things.
Well, and Raiford is RAIFORD. We have the town of Raiford, RAEFORD here in North Carolina, not too far from here. But Raiford is RAIFORD. And Raiford is really the main street, at least in my mind, of Selma. Yeah. So it's easy to find, and it's a historic downtown Selma, which is a great place, very walkable, very safe, lots of people, lots of things going on now. It is not the Selma of 15 years ago. No. If you've not been, you got to go. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah, so the last question we'll ask everybody is, what do you love most about Johnston County?
Go ahead.
I love the people and the country aspect of it, which I've been hoping we stay country. That's important because it's been growing a lot. But we moved for the first time out in the country, and we just love it. But the people are great. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and the best podcast.
The best podcast. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. But anyway, there's some other good Johnston County podcasts other than this one. But anyway, well, cool. We'd like to thank Jim and Kim Fry for being our guest on the Best of Johnston County podcast this week. Go visit them. Coffee on Raiford in downtown Selma, along with some of the other businesses in downtown Selma. Go to one of the concerts. They have a lot of great beach music bands and different stuff. Third Thursday coming up, starting in April, going all the way through September. It's a tremendous concert series. I've been to one and had a very nice time. So anyway, as we mentioned earlier, please like, follow, subscribe to this podcast wherever you're seeing it. Also, leave us a 5-star review down below. Tag us in your Instagram stories, Best of Johnston County. Till next time, I'm your host, Jonathan Breeden.
That's the end of today's episode of Best of Johnston County, a show brought to you by the trusted team at Breeden Law Office. We thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to sharing more interesting facets of this community next week. Every story, every viewpoint adds another thread to the rich tapestry of Johnston County. If the legal aspects highlighted raise some questions, help is just around the corner at www.breedenfirm.com.